I'm Jules Heron. I own Hair for Humans in Portland, Oregon, and you are listening to Trendy with Allison.
Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. Now, listen, we don't find hair, hair finds us. And today's guest, I was sitting at Creator Con, and someone stood up in the audience and said they were making around $12,000 a month on Facebook. And I said, wait, excuse me? Like, who is that? Who is this person? Well, that human is Jules Heron of Hair for Humans. That's who this person is sitting right next to me on the screen. And we're about to get into hair, identity, and how content changes the game. Jules, welcome to Trendy with Kim Allison.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Ah, good, good, good. And you live in Portland, Oregon, right? Is that what you said?
Yep. Yep.
Perfect. So first things first, how did hair find you? And what I mean by that, because I always say that it never seems coming out of the block that we're actually looking for hair. Everybody that I talked to, including myself, it was, well, my parents wanted me to do this, or I stumbled upon it somehow. So how did hair find you, and when did you realize this isn't just about cutting hair? There's something deeper happening in your chair.
Yeah, I mean, being a trans person, not being seen for how I felt on the inside, so going to get my hair done, it felt not as easy for me. And so I felt like I never got the cut that I wanted. And so I just decided to start cutting my own hair at my house. And then I started cutting friends and family hair. And I had worked at a grocery store for about 12 years. And after I got top surgery, I finally felt a lot more aligned with how I felt on the inside. And so I felt more confident to go after what I wanted. And since I had already been cutting hair for many years, probably about 10 years, I felt a draw to go to beauty school. And I talked to a couple people that worked in the industry, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. And then I absolutely fell in love with it. And yeah, I love helping clients and sitting with them instead of having like 30-second interactions. I have now, 45 minutes to get to know people and help them feel like their best selves.
No, I love that because I was looking at your page, and what you do, it does feel different. You're not just doing hair. Seems like you're helping people really see themselves, which is amazing. So why do you think so many clients sit in our chairs and still leave feeling like that's not what I asked for? Like, what exactly are we missing as stylists? And I want to connect the two, what I'm talking about. Was
Yeah.
that always your approach, or did your personal journey shape how you show up behind the chair?
I think my personal journey definitely helped me shape how I approach clients.
Mhm.
I really strive to take a human approach to how I do consultations, how I run my business, and I also really want to teach other hairstylists how to do that as well, which is why I'm now getting into education. But I think the disconnect of people not getting what they want is a couple of things. So one, they're not being listened to, and I feel like that we're taught how to see people. I'm going to put you in this box, therefore I'm going to give you this haircut regardless of how you feel about it. This is what looks good, and I'm the professional, so I know better. I know what looks good on you, so I'm going to tell you what you should look like. So people aren't being listened to. And then on the other flip of that, on the flip side of that, is that there's not enough hair education. There's not enough, and I think that is changing in the industry, thankfully. But we don't have mandatory continued education in more than half the states. And the continued education that we have in Oregon, which just started a year ago, is how to disinfect your tools. So
Mm.
it's not even haircut education. It's okay, we're keeping people safe in a health way, but not how do we cut hair? How do we stay on top of trends? How do we really understand the foundations of hair? And so I feel like in the education part, there's a lot of here's how you do a haircut, but there's not a lot of here's how you understand hair cutting. And so I think the two things is people aren't being listened to, and then stylists don't have the skill to execute what the person is actually asking for.
Oh, wow. That was well said. And to your point, you gave me food for thought because you're right. When I got my real estate license, I have to take continuing education every 2 years to maintain my real estate license.
Sure.
right? You have to do that with your driver's license, take a driving test, what have you. But you're
Yep.
right, in hair, you could just be in the wild, wild west. Once you graduate beauty school, you could do whatever the hell you want to do with your scissors and your bleach and people
Yep.
are just jacking people up left and right. And I
Yeah.
also like something else you said, you have these basic shapes that you are conditioned out of the gate to
Yep.
apply to said individual, right? And we need to start thinking differently. We need to open our minds and definitely start thinking differently. I say we elect you to advocate for the whole hairdressing. I mean, you articulate yourself so well. I think you should be our
Yeah.
representative in this for sure. All
Yeah.
right. So back to something you said earlier, because I want to definitely dig a little deeper.
Sure.
Being a trans, and let me ask you first before I get into it. Do you have trans clients? Does that draw more trans clients to your chair, or is it just status quo, regular?
Yeah, I mean, originally when I started my business, so it was more geared towards queer people because that was my community. That's who I wanted to serve. And then once I started posting on social media, I now have like half queer clients. And then I also have half women above 30.
Hmm.
And I think that's because a lot of women are told that this is the beauty standard, this is what you need to live up to, and nobody's going to cut your hair short. They're not going to use clippers because that's not feminine, quote unquote. And
Mhm.
so stylists get really nervous to cut women's hair short because it's not done very often and it's not the beauty standard. And so I am fine buzzing somebody's head, no matter how you present, no matter your gender, whatever. And so it's been this interesting direction that my career has gone where, oh, I want queer people in my shop because that's my community. But now it's really turned into something much more where I was like, oh, it's not just queer people that aren't being listened to. It's women who really want short hair. They want short masculine hair or they want short feminine hair. And not a lot of people know how to cut that. And so when I show that on social media, they just kind of came and I didn't expect it. So now I'm very popular with the over 30 women crowd.
Oh, I love that, and I think people just want someone who knows what they're doing too,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because not a d you said they're not continuing their education, a lot of people are out there, they don't even know what they're doing. I think,
Yeah.
again, people appreciate good artistry at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And before I move away from that topic, now that I have you here, I can say, you know, I'm Gen X, and we are the absolute worst. Like, what do people get wrong about they them, and what's something people are afraid to ask you that you actually wish they would? Because people are
Hmm.
stupid, starting with myself.
I mean, we're all stupid in some sense, right? I mean, I think the thing that people get hung up on is the fact that they them is plural, which it's not. I mean, I my sister-in-law had that same comment when I first came out as going by they them, 12 years ago or whatever. And the example that I like to say is when somebody's in a grocery store and they leave their phone behind and the phone is neither blue or pink, it's just like a green phone. You go, "Oh, somebody left their phone. I hope they find it." You don't know whose phone it is. You don't know if that's a man or a woman's phone. It's also just a lot more smooth to say, "Oh, I hope they find it," instead of "I hope he or she finds it." It's like, "No, I hope they find it." Because queer people are kind of changing the game a little bit of going by they them as a singular person. It forces you to think about it, but I think that people think about it too much and then they just confuse themselves because, oh, I've already put you in this box. Therefore, I'm going to call you this. But now you're telling me that my box that I put you in is wrong. So now I have to think about it and then I just confuse myself. But it's really simple. Just, yeah, Jules. There.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, "My name's Jules." That's it. I
Yeah.
mean, if we all could not put such emphasis, right? Allow people just to be who they are, honestly. I
Yeah.
mean, I think we're getting better. I think again, people don't like change, and the older you get, the more stubborn you are. So you know how it is. And good thing that you don't internalize all of that, and
Yeah.
you could just exist. Okay, I love that, and I like that analogy because that puts it in perspective right there. You're absolutely right, and that's something I never thought about.
Yeah.
You don't
You have to.
apply gender
Yeah.
when it's just an object. You don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, and the thing with queer people is like, I remember teaching a trans awareness class in the grocery store that I worked at, and I remember talking about going to the bathroom. Where I'm like, every time I walk into the bathroom, this was before I went on testosterone, so I was always like a very masculine person,
Mhm.
but presenting as female to the world, it was very confusing to people. So every single time I would go into a public bathroom, I would be in fear of somebody saying something, telling me to leave the bathroom, or somebody physically harming me.
Yeah.
And so I was saying that to somebody, and she was like, "Oh, I never thought of that." And it's like, because you don't have to, because you live up to the beauty standards or whatever to the world, the gender norms, whatever. And so when you don't have to, that's an amount of privilege that you have, but also being open to other people's experiences of, yeah, every time I go to the bathroom, I am concerned for my safety, or that I'm going to have an uncomfortable interaction with somebody. And I think it's very weird in my own presentation to the world, as I have the experience of being a masculine woman in society and being called out for being different and being harassed, and then also now being on testosterone and being seen as a man and having all the privilege in the world because of how I look now. And it's very weird to like be on both sides of that.
Yeah, because 'cause you're like, "Oh, like, who knew?"
It's
Like,
crazy.
it is true, and when you say that, I feel that. When you say when you don't have to feel or think something, it is out of sight, out of mind for you. And that transcends into race as well, right? If you are, as you say now, white presenting male, oh,
Yeah.
life looks very different for you
Yep.
than it did for you in your old identity, and it does for me in my identity.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's wild. That's why I don't racism is terrible in any
Yeah.
case, right?
Yeah.
Discrimination, period, is horrible.
Yeah.
However, I do always try to be an objective person and look at things objectively.
Yeah.
I'm always a moderate thinker. That's just how I'm wired.
Yeah.
I've never been extreme one way or the other. It makes me wildly uncomfortable. But if you and being old, my brain just goes I don't know where that thought just went in my head, but it left. Oh, that's why I give people a pass who are just honestly ignorant to something. If you do
Yeah.
something knowingly, okay, shame on you. But if you honestly, you have no clue because you can't think past your own understanding, whatever, right?
Yeah.
If if
Yeah.
if if me having dark skin bothers you that much, then you need to work on you. It's not a me problem. That's your problem,
Yep, 100%. And
right?
the more comfortable we can be with ourselves, the more open we can be with other people. Where it's like, I don't care how you present, whatever. If it makes you happy and you're not hurting anybody, I don't care.
Exactly.
It's
Good.
great.
Love that. Let's take
Yeah.
that into the salon for a second. Have you ever had a client sit in your chair and completely misread you? And do you think, and you could be honest here, do you think the hair industry is actually inclusive, or do you think we just
Mm,
think we're inclusive?
great question. Um, Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had instances where I haven't been seen, more so before taking testosterone and presenting so masculine to the world. And it used to bother me a lot more, but now that I feel a lot more settled in myself, I'm okay with it. It's like, whatever. It's cool. And I can just correct people, and it's not a problem. In terms of the hair industry being inclusive, I would say it's getting more inclusive for sure. I think that a lot of people are starting to charge based on time and length of hair rather than men's and women's cuts. But there's still a lot of work to do in that at retrospect or in that aspect of it because yeah, it's still very old. It's an
Yeah,
old way of
I know. I'm having a hard time with it because I've had, I've been in the industry for a long time, and you've established yourself based on one pricing model. And
thinking.
so if you tell a man suddenly your haircut is not 40, it's now 100,
Yeah,
and you've been doing his hair for like 20 years, it's like that's wild. I don't know if there's a world where that works. I think you have to, in my opinion, it would be new client moving forward versus trying to convert the old client. I I don't know.
I think it can work. I mean, I think it's based on how much you want to charge your clients, right? Like I feel like, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day where she was like, "Why are your long haircuts so much more expensive?" Because it takes less time to cut long hair, and short hair is so meticulous, and you have to do so many things. However, it's the blow dry that takes longer, and so
Mhm.
that's the reason why my long haircuts are an hour and then my short haircuts are 45 minutes, but they're very close in price. So my short haircuts are $100 right now, and then my long and transformation cuts are 125 for an
Okay.
extra 50 minutes. And so I know that my blow dry is going to take a little bit longer, so it's a long cut. However, I think if you wanted to convert your clients, you could say, "Hey, I'm going to this like base model, whatever." And as a business owner, I would feel comfortable saying, "Hey, I know it's been this way forever. I'm converting to this new thing. And maybe you could do a tier system of I'll charge you the same price or I'll charge you 20 bucks more or whatever for the next 6 months. But in 6 months, it's going to be this new price. And then just slowly change it over time if you do want to get to that
Yeah,
structure."
no, that's great advice. How long have you been in the industry?
Since 2018, not too long.
All right. Look at this old dog learning new tricks from uh, a new school. I love
Yeah,
it. Thank you
yeah,
for that. I appreciate that.
yeah, of course.
Now, so your hair, your clients, because I was gonna parlay on what you said. Long hair also requires way more product.
Yeah,
The shampoo, the conditioner, the
yeah,
styling aids. I mean, it honestly should be more expensive than a short haircut. Price for price. So your
yeah,
salon is, are you a salon owner?
yeah. It's just
Okay.
me in the shop, though. So
Okay. So you're an independent stylist, like a suite, salon suite type?
yeah, I have like a little rented space. Yeah,
Oh, I love that. Okay. So it's just you, and you've got your full clientele. You've been it since 2018. Okay, perfect. Now
yeah,
I want to shift gears because I met you at CreatorCon.
yeah,
And when you said you were making around 12,000 a month, or you had on Facebook, I said, "Hold on. We need to talk about that for
yeah,
sure."
yeah.
When did you realize I can actually make real money doing content? And what were you posting? Because I think a lot of stylists feel like it has to be perfect. I was one of those people, and that stops them before they even get started. What
Right.
matters more, consistency or, volume? Like, talk to us.
I would say consistency and authenticity. So when I first started my career in 2018, one of my friends in the industry told me that the only way I would make money is by doing color. So I tried my hardest to do color for 4 years and I hated it. I hated doing color. It stressed me out. I never felt comfortable doing color. I would try to take as many classes as possible. I would try to get really passionate about it, and it just wasn't there for me. And so I finally made the decision when I signed the lease on my now suite that I have that I wasn't going to do color anymore. And that's when my career started to take off. I was like, oh, I'm actually doing something that I'm really passionate about. I hate doing color. I don't have to pay as much backstock as I would with color. And so I'm actually making thousands of dollars more because I love doing cuts. I'm faster at doing cuts because I'm passionate about it and I have my systems in place for haircutting, and I don't have the backstock that I would need for color, and so I'm actually making thousands more dollar than I would doing haircuts than color.
What do you do with your clients that want color, or do you just get clients that don't color their hair?
I mean, I have a couple buddies in the city that I'm like, yeah, you should go to them. They're great at color, and so I've made friends in the industry around my city of like, oh, you should go to this person for color, and I'll do the cut if that's what you want. It was hard saying no to people, saying I'm not doing color anymore, and disappointing people. But now I have no problem because I'm like, nope, I'm settled in being a hair cutter, and I'm totally fine sending you somewhere else for the color appointment because I
Oh
hate
my
doing.
God, why am I podcasting, but you are preaching to me, the podcaster? Jules, I have been in the industry for 29 years, and for the first 25, all I did was cut hair because I
Okay.
came from a European company called Tony and Guy. Have you ever heard of this
Yeah.
company? You have.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I learned I that was my specialty back then. We were departmentalized. You could not do both. You have to choose. And
Yep.
it was always, even in beauty school, I hated doing color. I do not like doing color. I don't. But in 2020, my business partner, who was the colorist, we were kind of a duo, right?
Yeah.
We shared a clientele. She
Yeah.
colored, I cut, she retired. So I had to do color, I felt, because I'm like, well, I don't want to send my clients to a stranger. Like, what if they never come back? What da, da, da. So I went into beast mode. Like, I was on YouTube during the pandemic trying to freaking learn how to do color, like Guy Tang, like I was ever gonna be Guy Tang. Now that I now that it's
Yeah.
5 years later, I'm like, girl, do you know how hard his work is? You were using him to learn. Oh my
Yep.
goodness. So here I am, stocked to the nines. Color is so expensive. I never had to spend money like this ever in my whole hairdressing life. And I feel like I am this close to saying, you know what? I don't do color. I do cutting very well. And if I could only do that's when I had my happiest days. And I haven't had a happy day in like 5 years. It's terrible.
Well, and here's the thing: clients can tell when you hate your job. Clients can tell when you're not passionate about something. So every time I would do a color, I would say I had 2 to 3 colors that I was like, that was a good color. Everything else, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it turned out fine. I don't know.
Yes.
And I hated it, you know? But hair cutting, I'm like, oh, I love that. And I feel like when I watch coloring videos, especially when I was trying to do color, I was like, that's really cool. And that's where it stopped. And with hair cutting, I was like, that's really cool. I want to know how to do that.
Yep.
And so I'm always curious about cutting where I'm like, man, this is awesome. I love what you did. Let's learn more about it. And with coloring, I'm like, that's cool, but I literally don't give a shit. I like the
Yeah.
science on the coloring,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do it on somebody's head. I don't honestly, like, I love my clients dearly. I don't want to spend 7 hours with them. I don't.
Oh, that too. It's like, gosh, and you never get what you put into it out of it
Right.
financially, in my opinion, you don't.
You don't.
So back to your content. So when you decided, we know now you are a true cutter, so am I. We're in the same tribe. Yay, good for us. You said you started to grow, and then did you just were you always into, because your generation, you came into the gate on the socials, right? So were you always someone that posted, or did you
No. No, I mean, so I'll be 38 this year. So I was like,
what?
yeah, dude. Yeah. 38. I'm not Gen Z. If you think I'm Gen Z, you're crazy. Because no,
You
I'm
look so
millennial.
young.
I'll be 38. So
What other
I
surgery did you get?
did what you ask?
What other surgery did you get? You sure about
all,
that?
all the facelifts all the time. So I mean, when I started beauty school, I didn't even know what hashtagging was. So I had to have like a 19-year-old show me that hashtagging was important. 8 years ago, and so I didn't start posting until 2022, 2023. And so I saw another queer stylist that was in this program, and they ended up having like a little marketing commercial, whatever thing on Instagram saying, I'm doing this program to build my barber business. And I want to raise my prices because I don't want to work 7 days behind the chair. And that's what I was doing at the time. I was working like 6 or 7 days a week. And so I really wanted to be able to raise my prices, work less behind the chair, and then start educating. And so I took that program and then I just started posting. And all of the guys in that program were the barbers that want to do the fades and the burst fades and the llama, alpaca, whatever they call it, with like all the designs.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, I just want to cut hair and I just want people to see my work because I want to get clients in my chair. And then I feel like because my work is not perfect and like everybody else's, that's why I grew so fast. I went from 1,700 followers on 2 platforms to 4 platforms and over 750,000 followers in 2 years. So it's because I have a niche that's different that not a lot of people are doing. And I think that's the reason for my growth, is because it's not like everybody else's work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's that. You're definitely unique for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
I
doesn't
love,
look, like
no,
the
go ahead.
camera in my shop, like it doesn't look polished at all.
Yeah, I look at your page and I'm like, this is not mass produced or a big production, I should say.
No, no.
This is just your work. You're just
Yeah.
posting your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so before I move away, how did the $12,000 work, that opportunity on
Yeah.
Facebook? Because that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I have a social media strategist and editor that I work with, who also worked in the hair industry. He's worked with a bunch of big names, and he also used to be a hairdresser. So he really has an eye for this industry. And I feel so incredibly grateful to find him. He's become a really good friend of mine. He's awesome. But he found out that on Facebook, if you're monetized, you can repost the videos that you've already posted. If 3 months have gone by, every 90 days, you can then post that video again and it'll remonetize.
Wow.
Yep. So what he does is he'll repost it once after 90 days, and then he'll take that video again in 90 days and re-edit it a little bit, different captions, a new hook, whatever, and then he'll post it again, and then he just does that. And so because I had 2.5 years of content to go through, he was posting 5 or 6 videos a day, and they were all hitting.
Damn.
And so in January, I made about 13K on Facebook. And now I'm averaging, 5 to 10. So it's not as good as January, but it's still,
But you're gonna have ebbs and flows, but the baseline being
Yeah.
$5,000 ain't bad.
Yeah. It's not
And
bad.
so you don't do your stuff. You have someone else that does it.
Yeah, he edits it. So he edits all of my consultations, and then I do the captions, and then I post it. And then I do all the other videos for myself most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. God dang
Yeah.
it. You got so blessed. I always say, I don't believe in luck, but I do believe in blessings. And so you're doing something right and karma is on your side. So amazing. Kudos. I love that for you. You know what still surprises me? How many stylists tell me they've never heard of Virtue Lab products. I found Virtue back in 2017 at a hair show, and I've been hooked ever since. I use it on myself, like this beautiful flourish right here. It's their hair thinning line. There's a full system. There's a shampoo, there's a conditioner, there's the density booster, one that's drug-free, and the other one that has minoxidil in it, which is amazing, you guys. If you haven't tried these products, please do. And it's one of the lines I actually stand behind as a professional. Here's why it's different. Virtue is the only hair care line in the world that uses human-derived keratin called alpha keratin 60 KU, Because it's human derived, your body recognizes it as its own and actually accepts it. We all want products that truly heal and repair hair, right? Not just make it shiny for a day. Virtue does that. It literally fills in the cracks in the damaged areas, strand by strand. So, you guys, trust me, you'll see results after one use, but after 5 washes, honey bunny, the hair will feel like a completely different head of hair. Soft, strong, and actually healthy. So if you're ready to stop masking damage and start repairing it, I know you're ready. Shop Virtue through my link today in the description. Support the show, support your hair. You'll thank me later. Bye. So let me ask you and all your wisdom, love it. And you're a millennial. So just kidding. I thought you were Gen Z. I was like, this little kid. I call anybody under 40 a kid because I think I've earned the right.
Well, technically, I'm 40, so
My son is 39. My
no
oldest.
way. You
Yep.
have a 39-year-old son?
I do. I'm
No
58.
way. You're 58?
Yeah.
Okay, what surgeries are you getting?
I
'Cause
know, right? I'm like, oh, you're not looking up close. You got to put your glasses on. Put your glasses on. Then you'll go,
saw
oh.
you still look good in person. That's damn.
Oh, thank you. You know what, Jules? I'm like, as old as I am now, any little compliment I get, I'm gonna take it. I will receive. Thank you. I
You look
appreciate
amazing.
that.
I wouldn't say a day over 44.
Oh,
Honestly.
thank you. Okay. I'm gonna be is that still millennial? That's not millennial though.
I think it's on the cusp. Yeah.
That's an old millennial.
Yeah.
44. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll be an old millennial in my mind.
Yeah.
All right. So for stylists watching this who
Yeah.
feel stuck, no traction, small following, like me,
Mm.
I'm so stuck on Instagram. I cannot with that platform. But what should they do starting tomorrow, in your opinion?
I would say consistency over everything or anything. Just post every day, no matter what it is. If it's a carousel, if it's a tip for people, if it's a consultation video, it depends on what your motivation is to post. If you're trying to build your clientele, you have to show what people can expect going into your chair, going into your shop. They
Okay.
want to know what to expect. If you post an amazing before and after picture, I don't know if that's what the client wanted. So I don't know if I'm going to get what I want when I go into your shop. So people want to know what to expect going into your shop. If you're trying to grow for brand deals, posting all of the things brand related, like this is how you use this tool, whatever. So it's kind of whittling it down to what your motivation is. Who are you trying to attract? Are you trying to attract hairstylists, clients, whatever? You can definitely take your posts and change them over time. It's going to suck in the beginning and it's going to be really hard because you want the perfection. You want it to look super good. I look back at my other haircuts when I first started and I'm a much better haircutter now because I can look at those videos and go, oh, I should have done that better. I should have done that better. And so when you can see your work and other people can see your work, it sucks because people don't hold back on the internet. And at the same time, it allows me to reflect and go, you're right. That I could have done better on that one.
Yeah.
And so I don't beat myself up for where I was because I know that I'm getting better every day. And that is what led me to working with Jacob Kahn and M. Chen and Ben White and all of those people. And so as long as you keep growing and changing, then you can kind of tailor what you want to do with your own content. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I worked really, really hard for the first year and a half of building my social media. And now it's a lot easier to do it. And something that M. Chen teaches is the 4 stages of learning. So the first stage is unconsciously incompetent. So you don't know what you don't know. You're not even aware of it. And then you start learning more. So you have conscious incompetence. So now you're aware of how bad you are at the thing. And that's when a lot of people stop, right? Like they're like, I'm terrible at it. I'll just give up. And then you keep growing and then you eventually get to conscious competence. So now you know how to do the thing, but you have to think about every step. And then the last one is unconscious competence, where you know how to do the thing and you can do it in your sleep. And so when you start growing into that conscious competence, you just keep getting better and better. And I'm still in the conscious competence. I can't do this in my sleep. But it becomes a lot easier as you continue to grow. So don't quit after or after the conscious competence or the conscious incompetence.
Oh, yeah. No, that's great advice. Does
Yeah.
M10, I know who she is, obviously. Does she have her own education platform, or are you just personal friends?
She posts a lot of educational stuff on her page every
Okay,
day.
got you.
Um, yeah, and but she travels around. She's working with Danger Jones. I don't know if she's still working with Babeless. I think she is, but she just does. I mean, she travels. She's one
So
of those
this is
people.
you've just learned these tips from her just by watching her content.
Yeah,
Perfect. And do you have any brand deals yourself, Jules? Not
not
yet?
right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So I'll end it here, Jules. If someone is sitting in your chair and
Mhm.
they don't feel like themselves, what's the responsibility of the hairdresser in that moment? Because, at the end of the day, this industry, is not just about how people look, it's about how we make them feel.
I mean, I think for the comfortability of the client and the way my brain processes, like I need a little bit of time to build the haircut in my brain of what we're going to do on your head,
Mhm.
which is part of the reason why I ask so many questions is because I really want to understand like what shape I'm creating on your head. And what I mostly do is transformation and short haircuts. So I really break it down into when you can break it down into a digestible way for clients. If you just say, okay, I want a pixie cut,
Mhm.
kind of pixie cut. There's like 50 different kinds of pixie cuts. You want a wolf cut? There's like 50 different kinds of wolf cuts. What are you talking about? So when you can break it down of do you like the texture of this haircut? Do you like the sideburns being longer? Do you like them being
Mhm.
shorter? What about the hair in the back? Do you want to see the hair when you're looking in the mirror? Do you want it to
Mhm.
be really long? So really breaking it down for them, and asking them to bring in pictures. And a lot of times, stylists will look at the picture and go, okay, I'm going to do that on your head without being curious about what are you actually seeing in that picture that you really like. Because a lot of times people will come in, they'll show me a picture, and I'll go, okay, what do you like about that? And they're like, the texture. And I'm like, okay, do you like the cut? And they're like, not really. And I'm
Isn't
like,
that
okay.
something?
Yeah, it's kind of like blonding, where it's like you're seeing a platinum blonde and they're seeing yellow.
Yep.
So you're seeing something different. It's the same with haircuts. So you really have to break it down of what do you really like about that? And I've found so many times where people will say that looks really feminine to me, and I'm like, does it? Because to me it looks really masculine. And it's like, oh, cool. You want a square shape and you want it to be really tight on the sides. I mean, to me, that's really masculine. But if you think that's feminine, awesome. Let's do it.
No, yeah, you're so right, and I learned that as a baby stylist from my mentor. He said, "The power of a consultation, that will make or break your whole career." And
Yep.
so we had this consultation class, right, that they put all of us newbies in. The very next day, and it was 40 stylists. We're all in white. There's EDM music playing. It was always chaotic at Tony and Guy, okay?
Yep.
Well, I get this client that comes in and she goes, "Oh my god," she pulls out from the magazine back then. We didn't have Pinterest and all this digital stuff. So she
Yep.
pulls out this haircut and she goes, "Okay, I found the haircut I want." She's digging in her purse. It's folded like 18 different ways. She pulls it out and she's like, "I love this." And I said, "Okay." Now her hair was down to like waist length.
Yeah.
And so this haircut was a bob. It was short like this and it had these bangs, like wispy type bangs. And I said, "Oh, wow. So we're going for a major change." And she goes, "Yes, I am. I can't, all one length hair she kind of has." And
Yeah.
I said, "Well, what do you like about the cut?" Just learned it yesterday. She said, "Oh, I really love the bangs." And I said, "Oh, so you don't want to go short?" "Oh, God, no." Kim, the baby stylist, the day before yesterday, I would have cut the whole back of her hair off without even asking her that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
The power of a consultation. I mean, good gracious.
Yep.
Well, Jules, I appreciate you so much today. But since you've never been here before, you don't know that I am the self proclaimed queen of games. Yes, I
Yep.
think someday I'm going to have a podcast where it's just our YouTube show where it's just games for hairdressers. But
Awesome.
for now, it's just at the end of every episode. So we're going to do for you a 60-second blowout, which just is a rapid fire. I have
Great.
different ones, but this is the one I'm doing for you today. All right.
Great.
Are
Can't
you
wait.
ready?
I think so.
Yes, you are. You got this. Okay, I'm
Okay.
going to set my timer for 60 seconds. And even though I do that, I probably still want to know all the answers to all the questions. So, all right, are you ready?
Yep.
Let's go. Coffee or matcha?
Coffee.
Your toxic trait in the salon.
I'm too particular.
Client you secretly dread. Don't lie.
The people that say I don't know what I want.
Song that gets you through a long day.
Float by Harbor.
Reality show you're currently hooked on.
Amazing Race.
Are you judging people's hair in public? Be honest.
Yeah.
Biggest ick in a client.
Somebody who's late.
Biggest ick in a stylist.
Somebody who blames the client for the bad experience.
Have you ever fixed your own bad haircut?
Yep.
Love that. Okay, so that's your time, but I'm going to keep going. Most chaotic thing that's happening behind the chair. And that's as industry wide.
People are more focused on Instagram ready and not thinking about the client first.
Are you a texter or a call me person?
Texter.
If a client is 20 minutes late, what are you doing?
I mean, sometimes I'll probably take them, but I'll tell them that we have to hurry up.
Do you people please or stand firm?
More often now I stand firm, but I definitely tend to people please a little bit.
One thing you wish you could say to clients but don't.
Respect my time.
Are you stalking your own content performance at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very unhealthy. I agree. I do it too.
Yep. Yep.
What hurts more, a bad review or low views?
Bad review.
Introvert or extrovert in disguise? What are you?
Introvert.
If you weren't doing hair, what would you be doing?
Woodworking, probably.
Who are you outside of hair in one word?
A little guy. I don't know. Just a shy little guy.
Last thing that made you laugh, belly laugh.
Hanging out with my nephew yesterday.
How old is your nephew?
He'll be 12 this year.
Oh,
We cut off his. Yeah.
I love that. Well, that was good. I love that. Where can my audience find you?
Everything Hair for Humans. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Hair for Humans.
Perfect. And if you're not subscribed to Trendy with Kim Allison, hit that subscribe button, please, and notification bell. Hit follow on podcast, and please leave me a 5-star review so I can keep doing more of this and I can grow. Pretty please. You can also visit kimallison.net to learn about all the things I'm doing. And of course, follow me on my nemesis, the socials, at Trendy W Kim Allison. Until next time, I'll see you next week. Thanks, Jules. Bye.
Thank you.